Or call 954-792-4663 to schedule an appointment. And now, here's Dr. Dash.
And we're on. You're listening to Staying Healthy with Dr. Dash. I'm your host, Dr. Jeffrey Dash, and it's a pleasure to be here. We're office located on Griffin Road in Davie. Easy exit from the turnpike in 995 to get to our office. Today we're going to talk about testosterone for men, and particularly the low testosterone condition. There are about 13 million men in the United States who have low testosterone, so chances are, if you're listening to the show on the radio in your car, you could be one of those 13 million men. About 1 million of the 13 million are being treated with testosterone, getting good results. The other 90% are not being treated, and that's the tragedy and the scandal of current mainstream medicine, is that we have 12 million men suffering from a low testosterone condition that are not being treated. Treatment is fairly simple with readily available testosterone. What are the symptoms of low testosterone? Well, before we go into the symptoms of low testosterone, let's talk a little bit about what is testosterone, what does it do in the body, and just a little bit of a recap of cell physiology. Our bodies are made out of trillions of cells. Each cell has a cell membrane. Each cell is sort of like a little microscopic bag of water. The bag is the cell membrane. Inside the cell is the water, which is the cytoplasm. Inside the cytoplasm, there's another little bag, which is called the nucleus, which has a nuclear membrane. And inside the nucleus is the DNA. The DNA, we all know what DNA is. That holds the computer code that instructs the cell what to do. The DNA controls the development of the cell from a single-celled organism all the way up to a multi-celled, mature animal or human being. And part of this control function involves the production of proteins. The code in the DNA codes for proteins. It codes for protein production. So the cell is basically a bag of water with some proteins in it. And if we look at the human body on a simplified version of the human body, simplified concept of the human body is that we are basically a bag of water with some proteins thrown in. So what does testosterone do? Well, testosterone is a messenger. It's a little chemical messenger structure molecule which travels around the body, enters through the cell membrane, enters through the nuclear membrane, attaches to a receptor. We must have these little receptors for the testosterone, and it's a lock and key concept with the receptor. The testosterone is the lock, the receptor is the key, which then opens the door, and the testosterone receptor combination then attaches directly onto the DNA strand located in the nucleus of all of the trillions of our cells. Many of our tissues have DNA receptors, testosterone receptors on the DNA. For example, muscle cells have testosterone receptors, and when the testosterone attaches to the DNA in a muscle cell, it instructs the muscle cell to manufacture more proteins to make more and larger and stronger muscle cells. And we also have testosterone receptors in our brain, which then tell the brain cells to improve cognitive function. And we're going to go over this in more detail, but there are testosterone receptors pretty much everywhere in the body. The other important thing about testosterone and all the other types of hormones is they're involved in sexual differentiation of the organism. For example, we all start off, that's all us humans, we all start, and everybody listening, we all start as a single-celled organism. That's correct. We all start off as one cell. It's sort of humbling to think about it, but yes, it's the fertilized ovum in our mother's uterus as a single-celled organism, which is then ready to start replicating and dividing. And the single cell then divides into two, then to four, and before you know it, we have a multi-celled organism called the embryo. And it's in the embryo that testosterone controls differentiation, whether the embryo will turn into a male or a female person. Testosterone, the presence of testosterone will produce a male embryo. The presence of estrogen will produce a female embryo. So that is a big part of what we call differentiation into male and female. We all start off pretty much as a unisex embryo, and then the presence of testosterone or estrogen will then differentiate into the proper sex. Once we reach maturity, testosterone is then important also for developing what's called secondary sexual characteristics. And as we mentioned earlier, there are testosterone receptors in pretty much all organ systems of the body, maintaining organ function. So let's then look at the list of symptoms associated with testosterone deficiency, the low testosterone condition. As I said, there are 13 million men with the low testosterone condition. What types of symptoms would these men have? What types of symptoms should we look for? And how do we identify in ourselves if we have low testosterone? Well, number one, decreased libido. This is the sex drive. Low testosterone is associated with decreased sex drive, decreased libido. About 3/4 of men with low testosterone will describe and report this as their primary complaint. Erectile dysfunction. We see advertisements on television for Viagra and Cialis for ED. The ED word is now pretty much public information, and this is reported in about again 2/3 of men with low testosterone will report that they have ED, which is resolved very nicely with the addition of testosterone supplementation. Diminished energy level, reduced strength, reduced stamina, reduced athletic endurance, sleep problems, insomnia, trouble sleeping, waking up. Mood disorders may also be present. Low testosterone causes depression, sadness, irritability, difficulty concentrating. Hair, body hair, decreased hair on the arms and legs is fairly common in low testosterone condition. And we do notice increased hair growth on the arms and legs with testosterone supplementation. Muscle mass, muscle tone, the amount of muscle in the body, on the arms and legs, the amount of muscle mass is directly dependent on level of testosterone in the body. Low testosterone is associated with loss of muscle mass, and we become frail and weak. May notice difficulty working out at the gym. And again, testosterone receptors in the brain, so low testosterone associated with cognitive dysfunction, loss or inability to concentrate, and the inability to loss of our attention span. Bones, bone density is determined by testosterone levels, so low testosterone associated with, as we might expect, osteoporosis, loss of bone density in males as well as females. The lubrication of the eye is dependent on testosterone, so that men who have low testosterone levels, low testosterone condition, tend to have dry, itchy eyes, can't lubricate their eyes. You may notice, for example, if you've tried contact lenses, can't tolerate contact lenses, the eyes are too dry. Typical symptom, sign of low testosterone condition. Dry skin, because again, testosterone controls lubrication, oil production in the skin. Men with low testosterone will frequently complain of skin problems, dry skin, itchy skin, thick, bumpy skin, and it's associated with lack of oil production in the skin, which again is really fairly promptly with testosterone supplementation. I just want to mention for the guys taking Propecia for hair, Propecia is the pharmaceutical drug which is advertised on television for baldness. It's a common remedy for baldness. It's supposed to make the hair on your head grow. Propecia is a DHT blocker. What it does is it inhibits the conversion of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone. There's an enzyme responsible for the conversion of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone called 5-alpha reductase enzyme in the Propecia, and also Aventura is another drug which inhibit the 5-alpha reductase enzyme and basically block the active form of testosterone, which is DHT. Testosterone requires conversion to DHT to become biologically active in the body. By blocking conversion to DHT, we're basically blocking testosterone. And we're seeing a number of young men in our office who have taken Propecia and are now